terrorists here.
Around the world.
I understand. Understand that, but I have agents scattered around this city.
Now back to our top story.
There is a clear and present danger. Exactly. How the hell am I...
Can you hear me? You have to come quick. He's here.
Who's here? Who is this?
It's Daria. From the crime scene. Do you remember? I'm at home. The apartment across from yours. Please, hurry. I need you one thing.
Are you still there? Daria!
Maybe I should call my brother later.
You should check for yourself. My Interpol friend, it's dangerous for you to be out in the street tonight. What are you doing here?
I was about to ask you the same thing.
Oh, the killer is still out there. More victims have turned up. All of them Augs, all harvested. Just like Angela Gunn.
So it's the same person doing all this, and we still have no idea who that is.
I'm not sure where all this is going, but I've been looking at old case notes, and it's uncanny. Marek Svobodka, the old harvester, is supposed to be dead, yet this killer seems to... Little habits that were never made public. I even called the cemetery just to make sure Svobodka's still dead.
And?
He's dead.
That doesn't explain what you're doing here.
It's still my case, isn't it? And it's still open. I was hoping that maybe Daria suddenly remembered something. What about you? You know very well that your Interpol ID doesn't mean shit tonight. Hell, I should be arresting you right now.
Daria called me. She said she was in trouble. She said he was here. Then she got cut off. Is she in there?
I wouldn't know. I knocked and no one answered. I've been worried about her. So she called you, huh?
You know how she feels about cops.
Right. Look, you're not supposed to be outside tonight. I'll take a look around the building. You, see if you can find a way inside. Hopefully we're not too late. Just try not to get caught, eh?
I won't.
You will be fine, I promise. You must be.
Anomaly detected. Trace program initiated. Access granted. Anomaly detected. Trace program initiated. denied. Anomaly detected. Trace program initiated. Access granted.
Events inside the intellectual complex strengthen the result. Absolutely. Secure environments for augmented citizens. No one needs to imagine what might have happened if state police had not moved swiftly to prevent the riots from spreading.
Indeed. None of us are likely to forget the last time augmented people allowed their emotions to get the best of them. Resolution 3507. Do you believe the controversial Human Restoration Act should pass?
Eliza, if members of me and the Safe Harbor Initiative, well, I wonder if they'd need to debate the act at all.
To hear more,
Adam, good. We need to talk, son.
What's going on, Seraph? Why the secure vidcall number?
I looked into Facility 451. It was a processing clinic, one of dozens set up after the incident to help augmented people recover. It was supposed to be places to heal, but they were run more like prison camps.
And?
And I don't think you got your new augs there. You said rescue teams dumped you in that clinic shortly after Panchaea collapsed, but your name doesn't appear on its entry logs. And it doesn't appear on any survivor recovery lists either.
They said I was a John Doe. Nobody knew who I was.
It wouldn't have been hard to find out. Your augmentations have serial numbers. Or at least the ones I had installed into Adam Jensen did.
Why are you so sure I didn't get these augs in Alaska? Orloff was there. I spoke with him.
You said he was using an alias, McFadden. I looked into it. Casper McFadden didn't exist until the day you regained consciousness, which was 1 month before you escaped the facility.
Okay, so where was Orloff?
Not in Alaska. He was with Tai Young Medical for a while, and in the spring of 2028, his name pops up once or twice in the Baltic region. Then he dropped off the grid, and McFadden shows up.
So what does that prove? Orlov is McFadden, and McFadden is Orlov. None of it connects him to me.
Except for the AUGs which Orlov designed and nobody else knows how to install, let alone make compatible with a competing system.
Are you suggesting all my AUGs are new? Even the ones you gave me?
I'm not suggesting anything. I'm telling you, all the AUGs we ever installed had registry codes, and they're not hard to trace.
I know my AUGs, Seraph. It took 2 years for my body to get used to them, to unlock all their potential.
2 years? Really, Adam? One of which you don't remember because you were allegedly in a coma in Alaska. Look, son, all I'm saying is it wouldn't have been hard to identify you, but for some reason, that never happened.
What are you trying to tell me, Seraph?
I'm sorry, Adam. There's not much more I can say. There's some conclusions you have to make for yourself. All I know is the deeper I dig, the more questions I have. Orlov might have had answers, but as soon as you found out he was in Prague, that he'd been visiting Prague periodically ever since you started working with TF-29's division there, somebody killed him. You tell me what it all means.
I can't. Not yet.
Well, if you ever do find out, give me a call. Until then, take care of yourself, Adam. Be careful.
Thanks for the help, Seraph.
Place with a powder keg waiting to blow.
Just wait
Now look.
there.
We have no business together. What are you doing here? It's after curfew. It's dangerous.
Serial killers are dangerous. Curfews are just inconvenient.
I beg your pardon?
Daria Myska. Ring a bell?
I'm sorry, but I'm not at liberty to divulge anyone's personal information.
I'm asking for your help. Daria's missing. She's gotten herself mixed up in these harvester killings.
I'm sorry to hear that, but I don't see what that has to do with me. Or with you, for that matter.
Before going after her, I want to make sure I have all the information I need. I read the email you sent her. You seemed very concerned. Something about a neurosurgery you performed. Why was it so important for her to meet you here?
I used to know Daria. She was a patient of mine.
Your patient? You mean here at the drugstore?
No, of course not. Before that, when I used to work for Tai Yong Medical, big tech corporation. You know it?
Enough to know I don't like where this is going.
I headed a project, the cutting edge of neural science and cellular memory replacement. We dealt with people suffering from severe social disorders. We were making people better by making them better people.
How exactly did you make people better?
We found a way to isolate specific character traits. The idea was to use neural implants with imprints of desirable traits from select individuals and insert them into others who were, how should I say, less gifted. Take a man like yourself, for example. Could have given you a sense of humor.
I'm funny enough as it is. Now how about you tell me what went wrong? Something obviously did.
We were trying to help people. Imagine what it would mean if we succeeded. Anxiety, gone. Apathy, gone. Depression, gone.
Diversity gone, spontaneity gone, individuality gone. But you probably left that part out of your sales pitch.
Daria is responsible for what Daria does. The only reason Tai Young forced me to get involved is because so much is at stake for them. Big brand name to protect. I've met their lawyers, men whose briefcases are filled with broken teeth. You must understand.
I've been very patient so far. Too patient. That's about to change unless you start getting into details. What are you not telling me?
Look, I haven't had anything to do with this for years. Tai Young Medical contacted me and told me it was my responsibility because Daria was my patient. They implied that if Daria's story ever came to light, I would take all the blame.
So you're in this out of the goodness of your heart. What else?
My job was to address people's deficiencies by integrating donor personality packages. That meant we needed lots of confident volunteers to donate time to our project. As you can imagine, people weren't exactly lining up to have a scrape inside their heads. So Tai Young had to diversify.
Once again, not sure I like where this is going.
Tai Young Medical cut a deal with various penitentiaries. Prisoners who took part in our programs, they got granted little perks, bigger cells, running water. The prisons, they benefited from facility upgrades. It was a win-win.
You implanted the personality traits of prisoners into the mentally unstable? Smart. Let me take a wild guess. Daria's donor was Marek Svobodka, better known as the Harvester.
Donor number 698843. All I saw, all I was given was a series of test scores that showed a perfect match. Everything she was missing, he had. Nothing else mattered at the time.
An innocent woman's been turned into a vicious killer, in large part because of a procedure you carried out. I'd say that matters.
Daria wasn't turned into anything. She willingly participated in a procedure. Now she is willingly killing people. You may choose to see a causal relationship between those two things, but let me assure you, it's more complicated.
Save it for the lawyers. What I need to know is how to stop her.
All right. Look. We obviously want the same thing here. Daria has a neural chip installed just above the hairline. She won't let you get anywhere near it. So if you're serious about putting an end to this, you'll have to, you know.
What, kill her?
That would be my preference, yes. Or I suppose you could just incapacitate her, but then you run the risk of having her wake up. Not a risk I would take personally.
There must be another way. Something that doesn't involve attacking her.
I wish I could help you. Unless you're willing to meet violence with violence, Daria's not a victim. Chip or no chip, She is behind this, and she will try to attack you no matter what you do.
I don't think Daria is as responsible as you make her out to be. Taking her out and removing the chip is great for you. Gets rid of any evidence that might link her actions to your bungled experiment. But there's no way it's my only option. And there's no way Tai Young Medical would develop a sensitive technology like this without some kind of failsafe. I know you're holding something back.
Like what?
A weakness, an override. Something that allows me to talk to her without the influence of whatever it is you installed.
Well, there is an override phrase. Daria has been programmed to react to it with specific subconscious impulses that are designed to trigger a shutdown of the chip.
Why wouldn't you tell me that in the first place?
Because I knew you would overestimate what it could do. You're a fool if you think you can just walk up to a killer and say a magic word. It won't undo what she's become. The decision to act on Svobodka's memories, to repeat them, that was all Daria. Simply shutting down the chip at this point will not be sufficient.
That's for me to decide. What's the override phrase?
Ad hominem 2026. But I warn you, do not turn your back on her. And do not underestimate her responsibility in all of this. We all have terrible nightmares. We all have visions of sick and terrible things we could do. But we don't all act on them. You must be careful around her.
Anomaly detected. Trace program initiated. Access granted.
And not just because I'm watching images of the quiet streets of a new Prague police state right now. No, the reason I'm sick tonight, and I should be used to it by now, the reason I am sick is because of you, the general plebeian public. Are you people seriously shocked by these events? By the state of martial law preemptively declared by tech authorities as an excuse to illegally detain people? No warrants, no trials, no rights, Reg, you can be sure of that. The only thing that shocks old glass here about it is that it didn't happen 5 years ago.
Oh, thank God. I knew you'd find me. We must hurry, before he comes back.
Before who comes back? The man who killed Angela Gunn?
Yes. He knows you're after him. He wanted you to come.
So where is he?
He's everywhere. Can you not feel his presence? Are you not scared?
Why did he bring you here? What does he want?
He's using me to get to you. He thinks that by removing your augmentations, he can make you whole again. Quickly, come closer. Help me to get out, and then deal with him. Please, I beg you.
I need to know where he is first. How long ago did he leave here? Which way did he go?
You've got to be joking. We don't have time for all these questions. If he knows I spoke to you, he will kill me. Please, my ankle. Come closer. You must help me escape.
You can drop the act, Daria. I know what's going on here. I know there's no one else out there. I ran into an old friend of yours. The name Cipra mean anything to you?
You mean Dr. Cipra? Ugh. Where did you dig him up?
He's worried about you.
He's worried about himself. He's worried about Taiyong Medical. They're willing to kill to cover things up, to preserve their precious image. Their reasons are savage compared to mine.
I don't believe this is who you are. Something changed in you after Cipra's surgery. Made you do things you would never have done otherwise, for reasons that aren't your own. But it's not too late.
Don't be so naive. I am who I've always been. Cipra's surgery, all it did was give me access to another man's technique, his courage to follow through.
I can still help you. Ad hominem 2026.
What did you do? Is that how machines pray?
Listen to me. The neural chip that Dr. Cipra installed in you is in the process of shutting down. Try to focus. This version of you that's been hurting people, I don't believe that was really you.
Then you don't know me very well. Why? Why should this change anything? The procedure gave me access to memory banks that weren't my own. The choice to draw on those memories was mine alone. You can't take them from me.
The shutdown process may take some time. There may be lingering effects, but that doesn't mean it's too late to help you.
You really believe that, don't you? All right. Prove it. Approach me. Come. Closer. Save me from all those horrible things Dr. Cipra did. There's nothing to be scared of, right? Surely, whatever trace of the harvester was inside me is gone now that you've said the magic word.
You obviously need more help than I can offer, but that doesn't mean it's not out there. Whatever power the neural chip had over you should be diminishing now. You should be able to fight whatever urges Svobodka's memories inspired in you.
I don't need help. You do. You need to be saved. All Ogs need to be saved. Svobodka inspired me to... I can make you human again. I have to make you human again to atone for what I am.
This notion you got that augmented people need saving, that there's something less than human. Look, I didn't know her, but I guarantee you Angela Gunn was a human being. Her humanity was defined by her ideas, her passions, the causes she believed in. It had nothing to do with whether or not she was augmented.
Svobodka never saw them as individuals. To him, they were victims of an age that terrified him. Mirror images of the monster he had become. He believed the entire race was under attack, that mechanization would keep our souls from migrating.
How does that sound like to you when you say it? Migration of the soul? victims of an age. I'm not talking abstract concepts here. I'm talking about people. Slobodka never saw his victims as human beings because it would have made it impossible to do what he did. He was sick, he was scared. Whatever he was no savior.
You're right. The more he killed, the easier it became. That is why he had to repeat the actions, ritualize them. It was a way of justifying his beliefs. If you kill one man, their memory is like an anvil. If you kill 7, you quickly forget the first. It all starts to seem inevitable. Surely it must be obvious to you by now. The Daria you came here to save no longer exists. She hasn't for a long time. All that remains now is his drive, his legacy, his cause.
His cause, not yours. I don't know the extent to which you're responsible for your actions, whether you chose to be like him or whether it was completely out of your control. But you are different. If you can recognize that, then maybe you can start distinguishing his motives from your own.
Let's say that I can feel his presence receding. After all this time, maybe I can finally recover the person I was before she pressed procedure. That doesn't undo what I've done. How can I possibly be allowed to walk out of here?
It's not for me to judge you. I want smarter people than me to look into this neural procedure you underwent. Dig into Cipra and Tai Young.
So you're offering me a fair trial?
I'm not offering anything. But if there's any hope of moving on here, not killing anyone else is a good start. Society has every right to judge you, and it also has a right to hear all about Cipra and Tai Young Medical. I'm not an expert on extenuating circumstances, but I'd say you have an interesting case.
You were right before, about the override process taking time. I can feel him receding. Memories of memories no longer crashing against me like they did. Let me prove it to you. Come closer. I want at least one person to know that I'm no longer what I was.
All right, Daria, we need to get you out of here for real now. This needs to end.
The version of me who did those things to Angela, I cannot even imagine it being me, even though I know it was. Whatever happens now, whatever the authorities decide, I hope you believe me.
What's going on here? What the hell am I interrupting?
Detective Montag.
Daria's got a story to tell you. How you react may have something to do with your thoughts on experimental neural therapies and big medical conglomerates.
I don't understand. Where is the harvester?
I want to turn myself in.
One of you really needs to start explaining.
I want to confess to the killings of Angela Gunn, Misha Voracek, Pavel Klima, and Leonie Wolf. I also need to tell you about the neural procedure I underwent. It involves Tai Young Medical and a man named Dr. Nicholas Cipra. I hope you'll listen.
You can handle this from here. Just listen carefully to what she has to say.
All right, Daria. I think you should start at the beginning.
It's all so muddled.
All right, Daria. I think you should start at the beginning.
2 years ago, I signed up for a program sponsored by Tai Young Medical. They said they could help people to become better versions of themselves. It all... We'll talk about...
Milena, you didn't take my advice about giving up on forgery.
I know. But trouble is, I've got a talent for it. And it's a real growth market. As soon as you got me out of that thing with Dragomir, I had like 20 emails from samizdat. Do you have any idea how difficult it is for art school graduates to find a specialist subject these days?
The permits aren't enough for police anymore, forged or real.
In Prague, maybe. But it turns out I'm multilingual when it comes to falsifying border passes. Lucky, right?
If it works, I'd say lucky.
Thanks for the vote of confidence, Super Commando Man. Oh, don't mention it, Milena. If there was an easier option, you think we wouldn't take it? I was less stressed out when I was working at gunpoint.
We may not agree on your methods, but I'll let you get back to your work.
Coming from you, that is like the gold star seal of approval.
Have you come to help us?
Welcome to the underground. I owe you an apology for hacking your info link.
Don't sweat it. I'm assuming you had a good reason.
Samizdat's usual channels are all bugged. I couldn't risk an audio communication being traced back here.
You're Little K, right? You don't sound local.
I wrote some things that made me have to delocalize a long time ago. Been living story to story on a Schengen visa and a language implant ever since. Never expect a short story from a long-form journalist. You want to know why I brought you here? The police raided Samizdat last night. Cleared us out. We were broadcasting until they pulled the plug. Radios, flyers, mail bursts, the makeshift media van. Getting the message out to our subscribers if they needed a refuge. As you can see, it went a little wider than we anticipated.
What happened to Kay?
Kay is me now, according to the Samizdat Manifesto. It's all very third-wave socialist with a dash of martyr complex.
Good to know. But I mean, what physically happened to him?
Right. His name is Yarek Drobny. He's being held by the police along with Bones. No contact, no bail, no rights, plausible deniability.
He must have known the risks.
Well, he was open to the existence of risks. When you showed up, it should have been a wake-up call, but you were reasonable. The state isn't reasonable.
I'm pretty sure you didn't call me to put up posters. What's the deal?
We've made a plan. We're getting people out of the city, starting first thing tomorrow. I want Yarek and Bones to go with them, but first, we need to bust them out of jail. Tonight.
And you think I'm the kind of guy who breaks into police stations?
Are you telling me you're not?
I'm sorry, what's happening in Prague right now is just a symptom. In my line of work, I have to focus on the cause.
I understand. Should I be wishing you luck?
If it comes down to luck, we're in trouble.
It is you, again. Have you come to help us? It is you, again.
Jensen, you still alive out there?
Yeah, just made it to the red light district. Any luck with that search warrant?
State police aren't even taking my calls. I'm afraid you're on your own this time.
Story of my life. But I got it, don't worry. Miller, the Dvali own most of the apartments surrounding the old theater, isn't that right?
Yeah, and they're very possessive of them. So if you're thinking of getting in that way,
It's gone a little further than just thinking.
then expect it to zip straight past peaceful negotiation the minute they see you.
I see. Anyone, especially in Auburn, not taking the chance.
Občané pozor, toto je nouzové varování.
Anomaly detected. Trace program initiated. Access granted.
Sector. Yellow status.
Wasn't someone supposed to board up those windows?
Jensen, you said Marchenko needed to finalize a deal, right?
With the Dvali, yeah. Not a lot to go on, I know.
Maybe not. But these guys are the best smugglers in the world, which means a lot of forged paperwork. You might find something in the Kingpin's office.
Assuming I can find that.
France.
That a repeat of the incident may be at hand. Many citizens are now demanding that the United Nations Security Council expedite their decision on Resolution 350.
Lord, this you work for me. They will pay triple what we agreed. That is good for business. But at what cost?
This is not a fucking discussion!
We can still limit the damage. We do not know what these people have planned for London. It could be...
I decide how the Dvali do business, not you.
But this orchid, you want to deliver to the Safe Harbor Convention before it even begins.
Do you have shit in your ears as well as between them? Get the fuck out of my office! Now!
Miller, Marchenko is targeting the Safe Harbor Convention in London.
Jesus, there'll be hundreds of people there.
How fast can we move on this?
I'll warn London and get Mac working on a mobilization plan for them. You go home. We'll contact you there.
Alex, they are hitting London. The Dvali agreed to smuggle weapons and the Orchid into Apex Center.
Fuck, man, they want to take out Brown. He's their real target. I've been digging into him.
Get to my apartment. Explain it to me there.
Anomaly detected. Trace program initiated. Access granted. Anomaly detected. Trace program initiated. Access granted.
We got it wrong, Adam. Brown's financial prospects aren't as rosy as we thought. He stands to lose trillions if the Human Restoration Act passes.
That doesn't make any sense. Millions of displaced Augs will flock to Rabia.
And the city can't support them. Brown's been selling investors a pumped-up dream. The corporate city-state where like-minded individuals govern themselves while investors reap the profits.
Kinda goes against the idea of a one-world government.
Yeah, and if it fails, so does Brown, the Santo Group, and anyone else standing in the Illuminati's way.
So they want to kill a competing dream and get rid of their augmented problem in one fell swoop. I take it Brown's been campaigning against the act?
And unlike Rucker, he's got the money and influence to stop it.
What about the orchid sample I gave you? Marchenko's smuggling more of it into London. Were you able to analyze it?
That's some pretty sick shit, man. Far as we can tell, it targets a specific protein sequence in the body and deletes it. But without that sequence, the immune system goes into overdrive, attacking and rejecting critical organs within minutes. Rucker's death must have been horrible.
It was. The way it hit him, it looked like his augmentations were being forced out of his body. Like he was experiencing a ramped-up form of rejection syndrome.
The orchid's an Aug killer? How did you survive it?
I suspect it's an everyone killer. But something in my DNA must be resistant to it. My body doesn't reject augments, Alex. I've never needed neuropazine. Maybe that's the key.
No neuropazine dependency? Jesus, how's life at the top, man? You gotta be what, 1 in a billion? Still, don't go testing this theory out. You might not be so lucky next time. Darknet posted pictures of Rucker's corpse. If Brown and all his elegant fancy potential investors get dosed, and Picus News broadcasts images of them, it's gonna send a message.
I'd better warn Miller. You can stay here if you want, till the curfew's lifted.
I can take care of myself. But when the task force hits London, keep me in the loop. Not sure what I can do, but... good luck, Adam. And be safe.
Miller, it's Jensen. Is McCree... He's still working on that plan for London? Because there's another variable to consider.
You can brief him yourself at TF-29's airfield. We're mobilizing.
Copy that. How do I get there?
Damn curfew's still in effect. So if you can get to Chicane's place, he'll fly you to it. Miller out.